10 distressing stats that show the shaky state of retirement that we are in currently. I'd say the last year, maybe a little more. I'm getting this all from a company called Nuveen, who went through the Economist enterprise to get this survey of full-time employed Americans aged 18 to 62. And this is all information collected in 2026. Yeah, guys, I mean, recently, retirement for a lot of people doesn't seem attainable, right? Or if it does, it's been pushed out a ways. Or if they are going to retire, they are not nearly as confident as they would have been, say, 3-4 years ago, right? Leave me comments. How do you feel about this? For those who haven't retired yet, how are you feeling about your retirement possibilities, opportunities? How well are you set up for it? Those of you who have recently retired, how do you feel about it so far? Are you confident going forward? Let us all know. So here is number 1 of 10 distressing, dare I say, shocking stats about retirement. Number 1, financial pressures are forcing workers to delay retirement by 4 years. That kind of goes with a lot of stuff I've been reading lately. What about you guys? Yeah, that makes sense. Well, doesn't make sense. I hate it, but that kind of jives with what I've been reading lately, right? I mean, the economy, the state of the world, wars, whatever, the stock market, I mean, whatever. It just seems so chaotic lately, right? So up and down, topsy-turvy. So yes, I totally get that. Delaying retirement by 4 years, a lot of people are planning. Number 2, why are they working longer? Now, here are 3 reasons why they're working longer, and some of them are a lot more to the forefront than I thought they would be. So out of the 3 reasons people are working longer, the 3 most popular reasons in the survey, 20% job satisfaction. Okay, that's great. Like I've always said on this channel, if you really love your job, not just like your job, but love your job, there's no reason to retire, right? At least I don't think so. You've got to keep the cognitive juices flowing, the socialization, even the money, okay? If you really love your job, don't do it. So 20% job satisfaction, 41% healthcare expenses. They are not confident when they retire that they will have they think the healthcare will be too expensive basically when they retire. So 41% are holding on to their job because of healthcare expenses. And here is the big one. Most people responded why they're working longer. 47% rising living costs. Inflation, right? We've been looking at that for the last, say, 3-4 years. That is a big concern. Now, for those of us in retirement, hey, some people get part-time work, side hustles, whatever you want to call it, to help with that, right? So for those of you who haven't retired yet, retirement is not the finish line as far as work. If you want to bring in some of that peace of mind money to help against, healthcare costs, rising living costs, by all means do it. But 20% job satisfaction, and the biggest is 47% living costs, rising living costs. Yeah, that surprised me. Number 3, Gen Z expects retirement to be delayed not by 4 years, but by 5 years. So depending on the age of the people they surveyed, some of them, Gen Z, say they're going to wait 5 years. Instead of retiring to, 60, it'll be 65 for them. Now, that's just what they think, okay? When it comes down to it, hey, we could have a total resurgence in the economy, in the confidence of our, retirement setup, right? We could have new laws enacted. Who knows? If they would make something towards Social Security to make it viable, write something in concrete that for the next 25 years, your Social Security will not be reduced. I think that would go a long way towards giving people more confidence that they can retire now. Number 4, 35% of people in retirement plans in the last couple years have taken hardship withdrawals. That's telling you something right there, guys. I mean, now for some people, they look at their big retirement account as kind of like a bank, right? Hey, oh, I could get a new car, but I could get an even better one if I take some money out of my 401k. Some people, unfortunately, do look at it like that. But for the ones that don't, that are taking hardship withdrawals just to get by, 35% of people with retirement plans have done that. That's concerning. That's distressing. That's, dare I say, shocking to me. Number 5. Now, here's something. Numbers 5 through 7. The reason these make so much sense towards retirement is because most people make most of their money. Think back to those of you who are retired now, or think back to those of you close to retirement. When did you make most of your money? When was the biggest change, the bump in salary for you? For a lot of people, I might even say most people, it's when you switch companies, right? Hey, you could have the same job, you're being offered at a different company for a 10, 15% increase in salary. How often do you get that at the same company? Unless you're a complete star, and you go from a manager level to a vice president because, oh my God, you're so great. Okay, maybe then, but that's not most people, right? For most people, it's 3%, 5%. If they're lucky, maybe 7, 8%. But if you're talking like a 10 or 15%, maybe even 20, 25 salary increase, percentage-wise, it's when you switch companies. So that relates to 5 to 7. Number 5, 62% of workers prioritize long-term security over high pay / better benefits. Okay, so what does that mean? That means a lot of people are staying in their jobs longer. Okay, they are not switching jobs as often as they used to. So what does that mean? The chances that they're making more money that they could have made if they switched jobs isn't as great. What does that mean for retirement? Pushing it back some, right? You're not going to be saving as much for retirement. Number 6, Americans have a decade low quit rate of their job of only 2%. Decade low. Now, this is interesting to me. I have never heard that stat before. Quit rate. 2%? That seems very low. Okay. Again, Americans are staying in their jobs longer for job security. They don't want to chance it, especially for those nearing retirement and you have to deal with ageism, right? Once you get past 50, it's hard to find, number 1, a new job. Number 2, a new job at your current or better salary. When I was working, the last 3 jobs I had, when I was laid off my music industry position, I was at 75. Next job, 68. Next job, 65. The job I had before I retired, I was at $63,000. So each subsequent job after I was laid off from my music industry position went down in salary. And number 7, for these 5 to 7 that show us that people don't have as much money to save for retirement, 30% have stopped looking for new jobs over the last 5 years. Why? Because they're concerned about job security. Think about it. You go to a new job. You've been there 3 months. Okay. Oh my God, there's going to be a layoff coming up. What are some of the most likely candidates to be laid off? The ones recently hired, along with the ones like, say, 50 plus in age, right? They're worried about job security. That's a big number. 30% have stopped looking at all for new jobs. I know when I was working, man, if I wasn't totally happy in my job, I was always looking for something better. Hey, for those of you who see me for the first time, my name is Duane, and this is a retirement channel for people on moderate income. If that's something you think you might like, think about subscribing and like the video as well. Number 8, 30% have cut back on retirement contributions. Man, now I get it if you have a family, 3 kids, you're not making that great of a salary, right? Times get tough. It might be tempting to cut back on those retirement contributions, say from 15% down to 10%, right? But for the rest of you, that should be the last thing you're going to cut back on, right? You should always have flexible expenses, right? So you can cut out, times get tough, you cut out the streaming services, you cut out the Starbucks, stuff like that, where you cut out the health club membership, you can work out at home. That should be how you cut back when things get tough, as opposed to the last thing you want to do is to reduce or, God forbid, stop contributing to your retirement plans, right? In the long term, that is a killer. And you know what, guys? Once you reduce or stop, it's hard to get back into it, right? Number 9 out of 10, 73% have postponed buying either a new home or actually buying a new car or a home. 73% have postponed that. What does that mean? Times are tight. Money is tight. They're not going to be contributing as much to their retirement savings, right? It's just not going to happen. So with all these stats, this is pushing back the age that people will probably retire, right? It's also pushing down the amount of savings they will have once they get to retirement. We're not in a good spot, guys, in retirement as a whole in the United States of America and probably a lot of parts of the world too. Retirement is not in a good place now for those saving and a little less so those in retirement now, right? Scary, dare I say scary. And number 10, 43% have skipped or delayed medical care to avoid costs. 43% have skipped or delayed it. Now, okay, if it's a routine checkup, I don't know, a yearly physical, okay, maybe I can see that. Push it out a little bit because you don't want to pay your deductible. But I mean, a one-time cost of like 30, 50, 15, even if it's $100, I mean, for your long-term health, you shouldn't be doing that, right? Now, they could be pushing back. Okay, elective surgery, I get it. Okay, if you want to get a new nose, you want to get, an eye lift. Hey, I got an eye lift recently. I look great, don't I? I get it. All right? I get that elective stuff. But for stuff that is necessary, particularly for stuff that doctors say, you better get this checked out now. They're delaying that. You can't do that, guys, especially the older you get. So there you go. There are 10 distressing, shocking stats about the state of our current retirement, and it's not looking good. And as always, as you can see, I'm not in the high desert, and I'm at my honey's house, and she's got those paint swatches all over the wall, except for here, so that's where I film. We got this.